Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off by welcoming everyone and thanking everyone for joining us today on the Support Tips and Tricks session. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name's Ollie Farrand. I'm a senior member of the Fusion support team. Been working with 2020 for around three years. And we also have Leon Wu, another senior member of the support team. Leon's going to be answering any questions in the Q&A, which should be displayed in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Okay, so any questions throughout the webinar, please enter them into the Q&A and Leon will be able to answer. So today's just a support tips and tricks session. We're going to be covering some existing features in the software, which will help your day-to-day usage of Fusion, and then also move on to some of the latest and newest features. Okay, so on screen now you should see the topics we're covering. The first topic where I'm going to go into is using the grouped items feature. Okay, grouped items is a really handy feature and can save a lot of time. Okay, by creating a grouped unit, you can reduce the amount of clicks you're making within the software throughout your day-to-day use. Okay, so to create a group, you would literally highlight one item or multiple items, go to the Items tab, and then hit Grouped Items. This will then prompt you to give your group a name and a description. Once you've set a name and a description, the grouped items will be saved in the Add palette or the Catalog Items under the Grouped Item Selector. One of the benefits of grouped items is that, for example, you might want to save your favorite island setup. You can save your island setup, and when you go to use your island setup again, you will be prompted to whether you want to use the existing style information, so that's the style information you save the grouped unit with, or whether you want to apply the style information that is the default in your new or your current room. Okay, so that's a pretty handy feature, and there's many usage for grouped items. Some people or some users would maybe save a selection of graphical items. So, for example, you could navigate through your selection of catalogs, save around 10-20 different graphical items, and then in all future designs, you would literally just add this one group of graphical items in, and then delete, reposition, and choose your items. Okay, this just saves you time instead of having to navigate through the catalogs each time. So again, it's just reducing the amount of clicks. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create a grouped item now. Okay, so to create a grouped item, you can add in any item into Fusion. I'm just using the standard Universal Worktops catalog here. You can drag and drop an item there, highlight the item, and then save it. So in this example, I'm just going to show you how, when saving a grouped item, it remembers the position of the items you've placed in your design. So as you can see, I'm highlighting multiple units now. I'm going to go to the grouped items palette. If you give the group a name, you can give it a description if you wish. That's optional. Yeah, okay. It's as simple as that. Now you will see the group we just saved there. So as we re-add in this group, Fusion will automatically remember the positioning of the items. So to add a group in, literally position your cursor wherever it needs to be, and you can double click on the item or hit the add button here. There's the prompt I mentioned earlier on, so we're going to use the existing style information. There we go. Just remember the distance between each unit, which was set when we saved. Going back to other examples of grouped items, I've seen in previous experience saving SketchUp items. So if you've got the SketchUp add-on, you can, instead of keep downloading it each design, download it once, save it as a grouped item. You can edit the colours, edit the size of it, still save it as a grouped item, and there it is, available in all future plans. So this is a feature that can sometimes be slightly overlooked, but can be very, very handy. Okay. The next topic we're going to move on to is customizing your universal reports. So the universal report suite is standard for every Fusion customer. Okay, every Fusion customer will have a set of universal reports. What you can do just to make these reports stand out a little bit more personalized or tailored to your company is add your company logo to all reports. It's really easy to do, and you only need to do it once. There's 3 simple steps. So first of all, obviously, obtain your logo. Make sure it's in a bitmap format, and also rename it logo. So as you can see on the screen, it would need to be named logo.bmp. Once you've got your logo in the correct format and named correctly, simply drop it into the Fusion installation directory. On screen now, you can see the standard Fusion installation path. So this should be the same over the majority of Fusion installations. Once you place your logo into the installation directory, it will now appear on all universal reports. Here's an example that I created earlier on. Obviously, we've used the 2020 logo, but as I mentioned, just simply drop your logo into the installation directory, and it will appear on all universal reports. It just makes your reports stand out that little bit more. Okay, a little bit more customized to your company. For best results, your bitmap file, your logo, should have the same height and width dimensions. So, for example, 200 by 200. So, as I mentioned, this will just make your report stand out from everyone else's. Okay. The next topic is the Starbox. The Starbox and its many uses. Okay. The Starbox is an item from our advanced graphics catalog. It can be used for so many different reasons. You can literally do whatever you want with this box. It can also be fully manipulated. Okay, so for example, you could add your Starbox into plan view, or even you can do this in elevation view as well. Once you've added your Starbox in, you would go to the Insert tab, drop the Auto Features menu down, and you should see Edit Graphic Fixtures. Okay, this will sort of bring up the same style of editing as if you was editing a piece of worktop. And as I mentioned before, you can fully manipulate the Starbox. You can apply all sorts of surface materials, images to this item, and then again, this means you can create almost any object item you need. For example, you could even create a table and chairs out of multiple Starboxes. Okay. Here's a couple of examples here. These are objects or items we've created with a Starbox. So there you see a table and chairs. The table was created out of 5 different boxes. We've downloaded an image online and applied the image or material to the Starbox. Going back to group units, is once you've, for example, created an item like this, like the table, you could save that as a grouped item. So this would make it available to be used in all future designs, and saves you time, so you don't have to keep creating the same item each design. So that's why grouped items is still useful. There's loads of little tricks you can do with the Starbox. The bottom right image, you can see we've got a really shiny, glossy floor. What we've done there is we've added in a Starbox to the design, changed the height of the box to 1 or 2 mil thick, and then we edited the box so it covers the whole of the floor, and then applied a transparent glass to the box. This just gives the floor a much glossier, shinier look. Okay, so that's one to keep in mind. Like I said, you can use the Starbox for almost anything. You can create different height ceilings, different height floors. You could create a whole design out of Starboxes if you wish. Okay, so yeah, that's the Starbox in its many uses. Just a quick bit of advice: you will find the Starbox in most catalogues, but if you're going to be fully manipulating the item, try and stick to using the one from Advanced Graphics. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic. It's setting up catalogue groups. Okay, setting up a catalogue group is also a time saver. Okay, so it just reduces the amount of clicks. Most people would set up a catalogue group with their favourite selection of catalogues. Okay, but when it comes up to setting a catalogue group, it's pretty straightforward. And like I said, once you've done it once, you shouldn't need to do it again. So within Fusion, you would go to the File menu, Manage Catalogues. You should now see a Manage Catalogue screen. And there's a button on the right hand towards the bottom of this called Manage Catalogue Groups. It's as simple as that. So once you're in the Manage Catalogue Groups screen, hit New. It would ask you to name your group. Once you've named your groups, you'll see the two windows towards the bottom of this screen. On the left, you have your available catalogues, and on the right, you have what is actually in the group currently. So literally just check the boxes of the catalogues on the left that you'd want to add to your group. Once in your group, hit OK, and it's as simple as that. Examples as to why you'd want to set up a catalogue group is you may do kitchens and bathrooms. So going back to our first slide, you would create two groups, one for kitchens, so your kitchen manufacturers and appliance manufacturers, and then another group for your bathroom manufacturers. It just makes it easier when starting new designs that you've got for example, two groups to select from, either kitchens or bathrooms. It's a time saver again. Okay. Another feature that is within Fusion that we've noticed in the support team that is overlooked is the Quick Access Toolbar. The Quick Access Toolbar again is a time saver and can reduce the amount of clicks you have to make within your design. It's there so you also avoid switching between the different tabs within the Fusion ribbon. Okay, so basically what the Quick Access Toolbar is there for is to add shortcuts to your favourite or most commonly used features within Fusion. On screen you should see an example now. That's the Quick Access Toolbar. You can either have it at the top or just below the ribbon. It's pretty straightforward on how to add an item to the Quick Access Toolbar. As you can see, you can navigate yourself to what is the end of the Quick Access Toolbar, and you will see a small arrow pointing down. Drop that menu down, and you will now see obviously a series of already commands or shortcuts that are in the Quick Access Toolbar. Simply click on More Commands, and this will take you into the Options screen within Fusion. Here you've got obviously a few drop downs of the different ribbons and popular commands, and you can literally add any shortcut to this feature into your Quick Access Toolbar. Like I said, adding items to the Quick Access Toolbar just makes it quicker to access. So instead of it being 1, 2 or 3 clicks away, it's literally 1 click away at the top or just below the ribbon. This feature again just speeds up your day-to-day usage of Fusion. A quick tip from myself, if you add the zoom feature to the quick access toolbar, for example, it would make the zoom feature available throughout the whole of the software. So that would mainly come in use when editing a piece of worktop. You could have a very complicated design and you need to zoom in to edit the worktop. So by adding the zoom feature to the quick access toolbar, it would make it available while editing your worktops. That's just a quick tip. Okay, so the next topic is rendering settings, performance to quality ratio. Okay, obviously rendering is quite a big topic within the software, as it's what produces everyone's lovely designs. Fusion has simple, easy to use rendering modes. Okay, rendering quality and speed are dependent on obviously what render setting you select. So I'm just going to go through a couple of tips now which can affect your rendering performance and quality. Okay, so my first tip is when producing, for example, your test renders. Okay, so throughout your design you're going to be switching between your plan view and perspective view just to see what your design's looking like. So by reducing the actual window, the rendering window to a smaller size, as you can see on the screen, this will improve the rendering speed massively because it doesn't have to calculate as much as it would if you were sort of full screen. So, as I said, when switching between your views throughout your design, just to produce your test renders, minimize the window, sorry, not minimize, readjust the size of the window to a smaller size, as you can see on the screen, and this will sort of improve the speed and again improve your overall design time. Other objects or scenarios that can slow down your rendering is objects with high polygon count. Okay, so if you've got objects with a high polygon count within your plan, this will increase your rendering time. Okay, a lot of items that contain the high polygon counts would be, for example, these 3D models you're downloading from SketchUp. Quite a lot of the time they will contain a high polygon count, and the easiest way to identify which items have a high polygon count would be to go into perspective and just use wireframe mode. Wireframe mode, you'll see every polygon or line within the item. As you can see on the screen now, in the shot to the right hand side, is a radiator we have. On the left you can see how many black lines this item has got. So because it's such a high polygon count, this will make the rendering slow down slightly. Okay, a quick tip: if you're using a lot of items with these high polygon counts, you can always try adding them towards the end of your design when you're nearly finished, or if you need to add them earlier on, I would recommend selecting all of the items with the high polygon counts, adding them to a new separate layer, and then hiding this layer as you're working. So you would hide the layer as you're switching between your views and producing your test renders. This will speed up the rendering, and once you're sort of really happy with your design and you want to produce your final render, then turn the layer back on, and then you're ready to go. Okay. Other items that would sort of slow down your rendering is reflective items. Okay, so the more reflective items you have within your plan, the longer it will take for your renderings to generate. So again, referring to the tips I just mentioned, you could always hide these items within a layer, or just add them towards the end of your design. Obviously, having more reflective surfaces within your design, such as glossy floors, will increase the photorealism, but will require more CPU calculations. Okay, so add them towards the end of your design to not affect your speed so much. We've in the recent versions of Fusion, we've added a new feature which is called planning mode. Okay, planning mode is a vital option which applies a reduced quality render in order to make modifications and viewing changes more easily active in your design. Okay, so there's a couple of screenshots there. On the right hand side we've applied planning mode. As you can see, it has reduced the quality of the render, but this will improve the speed massively. I'm just going to switch to the Fusion program now, just so I can show you planning mode. Okay, so let's just open a slightly different design. But planning mode will speed up your design time massively. Okay, so let's go into a perspective view. I'm just going to put it into a preview render. Okay, once it's in a preview render, I'll show you how much difference planning mode would make to the speed it takes. Okay. Also, when switching planning mode on, it will remove all lights or themes you've applied within your design. So an overall better experience. Okay, so we're just coming into a draft render now. As you can see, you've got your sunlight. As soon as we're applying planning mode, remove the sunlight and reduces the quality of the render massively. But as I mentioned before, the bonuses of planning mode is how quick it will render. And for example, if you're moving your items around in perspective view, with planning mode turned on, the render will not re-render until you've adjusted your item. And it's a really smooth and fluid movement, as we can see. Okay, so as I let go of the item, it's re-rendered, and we can easily switch planning mode off and on from the View tab. Okay, so right now let's focus more on the quality of renders. Okay, so what can we do to improve our renders? What can we do to make them look real? Okay, one of the main points we need to go over is lighting. Okay, lighting is extremely important to making your render look real. Okay, always use natural lighting when possible. So by going into a HQ render, and natural light will start coming through the windows and bouncing around the room quite a bit more. I would always say test different positions of the sun and play with different themes, okay? Because obviously every design you create will be slightly different. So as I mentioned, play around with the different positions of the sun, different themes, and try and stick to using the functionalities of the software in regards to the natural light. Okay. When it comes to adding some more of your own manual light in the recent versions of Fusion, we've got a universal lighting catalog. The universal lighting catalog is optimized for the latest versions of Fusion. Okay. In previous versions, you may have used advanced graphics and point lights. My advice would be, as I keep mentioning, try and stay away from the old style point lights and use more of the natural light functionality. Use lights from universal lighting, okay? Because these make an extreme difference on how your design will look and how real your design will look. Material selection, okay? Selecting materials within your design also helps make your design that bit more real. Okay, so if you're importing your own materials online straight into Fusion, then always try and stick to high quality materials, so materials with a higher resolution, because this will increase the realism of your rendering. So always stick to the best and higher quality materials. And also don't forget that 2020 Fusion has a powerful coverings tool. Okay, the coverings tool lets you apply any of your own custom materials, images to almost any item in your plan. So this tool again is really handy when it comes to obviously boosting up the realism of your renderings. As I mentioned, materials, images, you can find them all online. Just stick to the higher quality ones. You can also stick to just images you may have in your own personal library. Just remember, these can be imported directly into your design and can be applied to almost any item. Backgrounds always make a big difference to your design, in my opinion. Fusion has its own selection of backgrounds, but you do have the option to import your own backgrounds, okay? When importing your own backgrounds, again, stick to high quality images if you're downloading them online. Just make sure they've got high resolution and they're not too blurry, because this will again affect your rendering. So stick to high quality images when you're importing them. You can also obviously go out on site yourself and take your own pictures of your client's garden, for example. Download the pictures you've taken from your camera onto your computer and import that straight into Fusion. That's just a really nice personal touch and will make the rendering look real. Okay. Fusion has obviously a new set of HQ renders in the recent versions. So the three highest quality rendering modes are HQ Preview, HQ Present, and HQ Publish. Here's when you would use these renders. Okay, so HQ Preview, you would use this if you want a sort of a quick idea of how your design is going to appear, how your rendering is going to appear. This HQ Preview will start bringing in the natural light into your room as well. Okay, so stick to HQ Preview when you want a quick look at your design. Next one up would be HQ Present. Okay, HQ Present is a much higher quality render. It's a higher quality render which you could use sort of on the spot in front of your customer. Okay, just remember, if you're carrying out test renders in HQ Present, adjust the size of the window just for the speed. And now the highest quality render would be HQ Publish. As I said, this is the highest quality render possible within Fusion. It does take the longest due to the quality. So if you want to produce the best quality images, it's your best to use HQ Publish just in advance, just before your client arrives, so you can produce the images and they'll be ready when they come to view their design. Okay. So just a conclusion. I would recommend experimenting with all the points mentioned above, especially the lighting and the material imports. Okay, so obviously remember, the more you experiment, the more you practice, the more you render, the better you will become at it. Okay. Now we're going to move on to one of our most recent and newest features. It's the 360 panorama. Okay, the 360 panorama is a new tool, a new way to show off your designs. Okay, it's fantastic actually. The way it works is within Fusion, you would obviously produce your design. Once you've got a render you want to present to your customer, you would simply drop down the perspective menu and select Export to Panorama. Okay, but first of all, before getting to that stage, you would need to set up your customer's email address. So make sure before you start their design, you've entered their email address, and you would also need to enter your business email address within dealer details. Okay, dealer details within Fusion is under the File menu, Manage System, and Dealer Details. Once you've put your dealer details in once, you won't need to put them in again. Okay, once you've got your dealer details set up and your customer email address, obviously produce your render. Once you've got a decent quality render, you can either drop the perspective menu down and select 360 panorama, or you could go to the File menu, Export, and then select the 360 panorama. Okay, I've got a couple of examples here, which I'm going to show you now. Also, just remember, once you've produced a 360 panorama, it will send a link to your email address and your customer's email address. This link can be viewed on any smart device. Okay, so any iPad, iPhone, just any smart device. And the great thing about this feature, if you're viewing it on a smart device, it will take advantage of the gyroscope in your device. So as you can move your phone around or your iPad around, and the gyroscope will pick that up, and your design will start moving around as well. So here's a couple of examples I've produced. This is just a standard daytime render I produced within Fusion. So it's really easy to show off your design, as you can see. And like I said, if you do it on a smart device, it's even better experience. So here's another one here, and this is more of a sunset theme I used, which looks really nice in my opinion. Okay, and a quick tip or quick bit of advice: in version 5.1, which is the next version of Fusion that is being released very soon, you will be able to view these 360 panoramas with the 2020 VR glasses. Okay, so the 2020 VR glasses is a device in which you would insert your smartphone, and then you can literally put the glasses on, and as you're rotating your head, you'll be looking around your design. Okay, here's another night render I produced, which is also very nice. So just remember, the 2020 VR glasses will be coming out with Fusion 5.1. Okay, so we're going to move back to the presentation. Okay, another one of our latest and most recent sort of features is the new user community in 2020 Cloud. Okay, the user community is free for 2020 Fusion users. It's a place where all users can interact with each other. So share tips with each other, share advice, and even show off your 360 panoramas if you wish. We actually already have a discussion on the user community to where you can upload your link and show off your designs. Okay, the user community is free to sign up to. You should see the link below. Go to that link and sign up to the user community. One of the benefits of having a user community account is that this will give you access to the 2020 Cloud. 2020 Cloud is one of our latest and newest features. 2020 Cloud is the future of catalog content. Okay, so like I said, once you've got a community account, you will be able to log into the 2020 Cloud. 2020 Cloud is available in all versions of Fusion from 4.4 and upwards. Okay, so just make sure you're on the latest version and that you've registered to the user community, and then you'll have access to the 2020 Cloud. As I mentioned before, the 2020 Cloud is the future of catalog content. Okay, The benefits of having access to 2020 Cloud is catalog updates happen automatically in the cloud. It's a live stream, so there's no longer any need to download any or to download entire catalogs to your computer. Okay. As you can see on screen, there's also a news feed. So in our news feed, and this will be keeping everyone up to date with what's going on in the catalog world. So what new updates are coming, what ones have been released, and sort of all the latest news in related to catalog updates. Okay, so as of right now, the 2020 Cloud is already live. Like I said, you can access it from Fusion 4.4 and onwards. There's already quite a big selection of appliance catalogs in the cloud. Okay, on screen now you'll see a list of what's already available, and we are continually adding more and more catalogs to the 2020 Cloud. So I would definitely advise you to sign up to a community account and then log into the cloud and just keep an eye on this area. Okay, I'm going to switch to Fusion now, just so I can give you a quick peek at the 2020 Cloud. Okay, so let me switch to Plan View. So I've already got the 2020 Cloud open. I'm already logged into the cloud. If your 2020 Cloud palette is not already open, simply go to Insert, drop the Catalog Items menu down and click on 2020 Cloud. And it will bring up this new 2020 Cloud palette. Here's the news feed I mentioned earlier on. So as you can see, we're constantly updating all of our users. And you would switch to the browser screen to see what's currently available. It's the same principle as the current catalog items window, so you still got your filters which you would navigate through all the different manufacturers and different catalogs. We also have a 2020 catalog, decorative catalog on the cloud already with around 900 decorative items. This is constantly growing. And as I said, here's our list of manufacturers that we have already. So for example, here's the latest NEF, Bosch and Siemens updates. And as I said, it's very, very simple to use. You just drag and drop your items into the plan, and there they come. Okay, so that's the 2020 Cloud. As I mentioned before, sign up to the user community, and this will give you access to the 2020 Cloud. You also see more information on our 2020 Spaces website. That's it for today. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining the webinar. Any questions, please either send them to Leon in the chat, or you can always contact us at the Fusion support team on the details on screen now. Okay. Like I said, thanks everyone again. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to hearing your questions. Thank you.